Well, let's bring in Christoph Frei from St Gallen in Switzerland. He's an associate professor of political science at St Gallen University. Professor, first off, what happened? How did Macron lose his momentum after being re-elected by a fairly large margin just barely 2 months ago?
Well, he basically misjudged what was going on. Having won the presidential election made him believe that he could go on doing diplomacy, taking care of peace in Europe, taking care of the war in Ukraine, but he failed to recognize and to realize to what extent French voters were actually concerned with what's going on inside the country, purchasing power, rising inflation, and so forth. So the president basically misjudged the situation.
So how did we see this rise in the far left and the far right? How did they speak to voters, and what does that mean potentially down the road? Can they maintain that support?
It will be easier to maintain that on the far right because on the left side, the biggest problem is that the coalition of Jean-Luc Mélenchon is very heterogeneous. You have communists there, you have socialists, you have Greens, and it will be much more challenging for Mélenchon to keep his side homogeneous. Whereas on the other side, on the far right, with Marine Le Pen, you really have a rather homogeneous group that I should say, she's the real winner of what happened yesterday, as she didn't really invest much, but she got 10 times the seats that she has had in 2017. That's remarkable.
What does this all mean for Macron's presidency, losing an absolute majority in the parliament? Going forward, how difficult is this going to make things for him?
It's a humiliation. It's a catastrophe. You're looking at a president who is used or has been used to basically do as he pleased. He never had to spend much time disciplining or bringing discipline to the parliament as he had an absolute majority. Now, of course, it's a completely different ballgame, and we are all reminded that even France is a parliamentary democracy where the executive power has to actually struggle or has to build majorities, and that will be a completely different thing from what we have seen. So governing for Macron and his prime minister will be much more challenging. And it's going to be interesting to see how this will play out.
Yeah, interesting indeed. Associate Professor Christoph Frei, thank you.